What can consistency earn you when it comes to video marketing? Well, you are about to find out from today's guest in the hot seat, advisor Mark Rapoza of Barrett and Company. Wait. Before we dive into the conversation with today's guest, welcome to the Real Finfluencers, a podcast born from our original video series spotlighting financial professionals who are using video to grow their business and their influence. Here's something you should know. Most of these guests aren't Idea Decanter clients. They've built their digital presence from the ground up, and they're here to share exactly how they did it. I'm your host, Laura Garfield, co-founder of Idea Decanter, and my goal is simple: help you discover strategies you can actually use, steal what works, get inspired, and find your own unique brand of finfluence. Now let's get into it. Mark, thanks so much for joining me.
My pleasure. Good afternoon.
In full disclosure, Mark and his team are now in year 5 of video production. So he comes from a position of expertise in what it looks like to be consistent. Mark, when you look back at 4+ years ago, what made you make the decision to jump into video marketing?
Well, it was the idea to um, begin to connect our process in a way that I would say could be presented to prospective clients and existing clients in an evergreen kind of a way. So one of the things that when we initially started doing video, that I really enjoyed as part of the process, even though it was difficult to do, was taking kind of ideas out of our heads and getting them on paper, and then getting something from on paper to actually putting it into a video. I found that doing that helped things kind of come full circle for us. And it also helps solidify that for clients what our vision was.
Like, the concept of a story about manure and how it relates to
That's your I think that's one of your all-time favorite. You're never gonna forget that one.
I will never forget the manure story.
The horse manure crisis. Yeah, yes. It's so, for us for video, and working with you guys in particular has been just, your team has been just a fantastic experience. So, it's been about taking certain themes that we know, resonate with clients. So what we try to do is we try to take our daily conversations that are coming in from clients, the things they're asking about us, asking to us, the things that we know they're concerned about, and things that we feel are really pertinent for them to be thinking about, not only today, but things that they should be thinking about for the next 5 or 10 years. So then kind of taking what those themes are, and the one you're referring to with the horse manure crisis was this idea that crises and developments happen all the time. We tend to think about, things that are happening today and think, oh my goodness, this is new. This has never happened before. But that particular video was talking about a period in time when in certain cities, before the automobile came into existence, everybody had horses. And there was, frankly, it got to a point where there was no place to put the horse manure. And cities were beginning to come to the realization that if this continues to go like this for the next 5 or 10 years, the cities aren't going to be able to function. And they actually convened conferences to try to come up with a solution. And the ultimate answer was, we don't have one. And within a number of years right after that, we began to see the dawn of the automobile, and the horse manure crisis went away on its own. So it was a way to kind of take a story that is something that is interesting, not talked about very often, but pulling something from the past into the present to show people like, hey, you know what? Wow, I can kind of relate that to this that might be going on or that might be going on, to give people perspective and some clarity to, again, and this is where I think the video really comes in, to be able to help people stick with the investing process, which is really the great challenge for all investors, right? Is you get a plan, you tie that into a process, tie that into a vision, and being able to stick with it and endure it through all phases of the market. That's the great challenge. So we need every tool, and video is part of one of the tools that we use.
I think a mistake too many people make is missing the power of that story, though. You made that video years ago, and it not only brought a point to life in a very memorable way, years later, it still stands out in my memory, and I'm sure in your clients' memories, and so I think you can't put enough value on finding creative ways to tell a story, to give an analogy that really helps bring your point to life. And Mark, I know you and I are both huge fans of Duncan McPherson and of Jackie Wilkie, and both of them talk a lot about the surprise and delight, the giving your clients this, triple A experience. How has video played into that for you? Because I know your team has a mail room in the back that constantly has books that are getting shipped out and special things when a client's kid is, going to college. Like, tell me how video plays into your surprise and delight strategy.
Well, one of the great things with video is that once you create it, uh, so some videos are maybe something to do with something going on currently. So it's a current event. So maybe it's going to have a usage for right now, but there are other videos that are timeless. So, for instance, we did a video recently on gratitude. If we are having a conversation with a client and we're talking about maybe something, one of their kids going off to college, um, we'll always try to remind them that this is a time to not just be thinking about the dollars and cents of your daughter going off to college, but let's just kind of look at where you've already been. Look at the journey that it took to get your daughter to this point over the last 18 years, the soccer practices, the taking them to to school in the morning, making sure they do their homework, making sure you eat dinner together, like all that effort. Because again, when it comes to money, so many conversations, the industry is just so based on the future. You're always looking forward, and sometimes you forget to look back, right? So a surprise and delight with a video could just simply be saying, let's take this moment and just appreciate what you've already accomplished. And then we can share it with a video, right? So we may have created that video, 9 months ago, a year ago, but it's timeless, right? Going back to the horse manure crisis, if you're in a particular situation where there's a parallel to that, we can surprise somebody with a client and just after a conversation say, hey, just send out this video. It's in our content library. Send it out. It's relevant, to that to this person right now. And there's something about this is this way. I mean, you talked about Duncan. One of the things he always says that I really resonated with me is he says, and I'm paraphrasing, but the more technology kind of pervades our life, the more the human touch matters, right? And isn't that so true? I mean, if we're all inundated with constant quick interactions with technology, but there's something about it when you can get a video or you can get a card in front of somebody, when you can just add that personal touch that the person says, wow, they really kind of thought this through. There was a connection beyond just a quick, 3 words or a couple of sentences and hang up type of the thing.
Well, speaking of your video library, I wanted to pull up your YouTube page for Barrett& and Company. And I get a question from advisors a lot, what does video success look like? And I've got a 40 video library that your team has built pulled up, and I have it sorted by the most popular, and your most popular was posted 5 years ago, and it has 312 views. And some people there's horse manure crisis at number 2. But some people would look at this and say, 312 people watched this. Is that successful for me? What would you say to them?
It's very successful in terms of every advisory practice. You're not looking to work with 10,000 people. Uh, for most practices, you're looking to work with several hundred families, or individuals, that there's a connection, and that there's a connection in terms of they're looking for a vision. You can create a vision together. You can create a process together, and how many people view it. I have to be honest, is really not something for me that I measure the success by. Is what I would say is, as part of our process using the video in the last 5 or 6 years, our practice has thrived. We have done exceptionally well. The other thing is that obviously this is doing it in terms of how many people just happen to click on it on YouTube, but we use that video for so you take our process video, every new client relationship, every referral now gets that sent to them on an individual basis, to them. And the other thing is, going back to kind of one of our original points, is if you take that video on our process, what does that force you to do? It forces you to actually know what your process is. Right? I mean, so you can talk to a lot of advisors sometimes, and like, well, I don't know, they got a few sentences, but they haven't pulled it all together. It's kind of like, if you think about, if you and I decided to, if you went home tonight, you just grabbed the book off the bookshelf and you just started reading the book, and every night you read the book. Well, you're going to get something out of it. But if you join a book club and you're reading that book with 10 other like-minded people, and you're going to go there next Tuesday and you're going to talk about it, you read it at a little bit different level, right? Because now you got to think about it. You're not just reading the words. So what the video does, and I would say this with all pieces of our process, writing handwritten cards to clients, it makes you take it out of your head and put it down. So that process video, after we created it, and how many times I've listened to it, when I'm in a meeting with a new client, I can tell them what our process is, because it's ingrained in me now, because I've said it so many times. I've thought it through so many times. So that's a big, big part of it. Video to me, is, yes, it's important to the end person who's going to watch it and to see it, but it's just as important for the advisor who's creating it, because it solidifies your thoughts, in a way that just can't be done when you're just kind of thinking about it driving in your car. It's not the same thing.
I wanna explain to our audience too what Barrett& and Company's primary driver for video was from the get-go, and that was to get in front of your existing clients more often in a way that felt like you were having a personal conversation with them while you really weren't, so scaling your time, and doing that, once a month in a repeatable basis through email with a video. And when you started doing that, you began to notice an uptick in referrals, and I got a message from you in LinkedIn DMs. I clearly remember, "Hey, we've just had our best referral year ever." So, do you link the being consistently in front of your existing clients with them referring you on more often?
Yes. I mean, what I've learned over my career over 30 plus years is consistency. It's all about consistency. I got, so sometimes it's just, it's funny, right? So somebody from your team will email us and say, hey, it's time, guys, to get the video. It's time to do your videos. And guess what? There are times I'm being honest. I'm like, oh God, we got to do that. We got to do that. Right. Because I know it's going to force me. So going back to the analogy of reading a book on your own time, right? I'll read it 20 minutes tonight. I'll do it 10 minutes next week. I'll do it when I want. To when you're in a book club or you take a college class, you got to do it, right? It forces you like, well, the class is tomorrow. I can't just read 20 minutes tonight. So what it does, because I'll go back to before we even started working with Idea Decanter, I would just, and I never put any of the content out, but I would just do it myself. I'd be in my car, I would be in the office, and I was just kind of practicing. It was just practice. And what I would find with that is it was just willy nilly. I did, it's just like, yeah, I would do it today for 5 minutes. And then, a couple of weeks later, something would pop into my head. I do it, but there was no consistency to it whatsoever. So I would say to anybody, I don't care I don't know if it's video, if it's note cards, if it's phone calls, if it's meetings, if you're not consistent with it, it's not really going to be effective. The only way to judge anything is doing it over and over and over again and doing it no matter what the circumstances. So when we started working with you guys 5 years ago, yeah, you guys are an accountability partner. When you email somebody from the staff and say, hey, guys, it's time to do the videos. Somebody from the staff comes to me and says, hey, it's time to do the videos. And then we delay it for a couple of days. And then we get another email saying it's time to, right? But that's important. That's important. It's like a coach, right? Saying, hey, this has got to get done. So if we didn't have that structure, what happened? You do a video and then 3 months later, you do another one. And then 4 months later, you do another one. And ultimately, the clients would not see that consistency and the videos would kind of lose their resonance.
Yeah, and then an advisor gives up, being inconsistent, you don't see results, and then you just abandon it, and everything you've put into it has been wasted.
Exactly. And it's like that with everything, right? I mean, so many things in life we think about. You think about exercise, you think about your diet, you think about relationships. I mean, I don't care what it is. I mean, most things fall into that category. And video is no different.
Well, remember, if Mark can do it, you can do it too.
That's right.
And if you need a little help building your authority and growing your practice with video, that's what we do at Idea Decanter. Oh, one more thing. If you're not already part of Idea Decanter's Real Finfluencer community, now is your chance to join us. Head to ideadecanter.com/join, and you'll be in. You'll get early access to advisor video tips, invites to exclusive events, and behind-the-scenes insights that you won't find on Google or even on ChatGPT. Whether you're just video curious or already knee-deep in content creation, this is the place to grow your influence with video. Don't miss out. And thanks so much for listening to The Real Finfluencers.